Mike Bond here in Washington with UFC welterweight Neil Magny. Neil, it's been a little over a year since your last fight, man. Just give us the update. I know it's been, kind of a crazy year for you with the USADA situation and everything. Just, how are things right now?
Things are going really good. I mean, I'm glad that the USADA situation got resolved, and it got resolved in a matter where it wouldn't happen to another fighter again. We've seen it with Nate Diaz shortly after my situation was cleared up, that Nate Diaz found himself in the same boat that I was in. But because of the work that we put in over the last 4 or 5 months with this whole situation, he was able to get his issue resolved within a couple of days. So even though it was a long, frustrating process for me, I'm glad that the result is actually benefiting everyone on the roster, not just myself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it seems like you're able to kind of see the silver lining then, right? You could see that even though maybe it wasn't your ideal situation, obviously you wanted to fight that Vicente Luque fight, but like you said, it's for the greater good of the roster in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. It sucks. I mean, there's no better way there's no easy way or no clear way to putting it. It sucked. It was a terrible experience to have to go through, but it is cool that it won't have to be something I'll ever have to go through again. So that part is pretty relieving.
Yeah, I mean, while it was all going down, though, I mean, how worried were you about your fighting future? What kind of, feedback were you getting from fans? Were they, calling you cheaters, stuff like that? What was it like?
I mean, at first I was actually kind of happy with the fans that reached out to me. I mean, majority of the fans out there were just like, "What? Neil Magny? No way! There has to be something wrong with that situation." And they all kind of stood by me. Well, majority of them stood by me and just kind of waited for this thing to play itself out. And I'm grateful for those guys. It was kind of funny at times. Like it was borderline offensive what some fans would say. They were like, "No way, he's not on steroids. Just look at him. There's no way. Look how skinny he is." I'm just like, thank you, I guess. Like, but
backhanded compliment.
Yeah, for sure. It was like a total backhanded compliment. I'm just like, thank you, I guess. But it all worked out, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, like I said, it's been a little over a year since the last fight. Where do things stand now? Are you in discussions for a potential return? What's kind of the situation there?
Yeah. So right now I'm just in talks with UFC. We're working on a return for February 2020. So right now it's just narrowing down an opponent and making that happen for February.
Interesting. Has there been some positives to being off this long? I mean, you've been one of the most active fighters on this entire roster since you joined the UFC 2014 or so, right? Yeah. To have a break like this, did it help you, mentally be able to work on certain skills in the gym? Is there positives on that side of it?
So the one positive I did take away from the time off, if I looked at my last 2 losses in my career, I was game planning well against. Like my opponents and their coaches, they did their homework. They knew exactly what to do to go in there and beat me, and their athletes executed against me. So having this year off, it really gave me some time to sit back and work on my game and evolve as a fighter. So the fighter I'm going to be in my next fight is something that people haven't seen before. It's a different side of me. It's working with a couple new coaches and that kind of thing. So I'm bringing out new tool sets, bringing new things to the table, and looking to be a completely different fighter than guys have seen in the past.
Yeah, and part of the reason you're not fighting until February, right, is because you're soon to be father for the first time. How is that? I'm sure once the baby arrives, things will change, but like your psyche, are you already starting to think differently about, the goals for your career and what this ultimately all means, all those kind of things?
Oh, for sure. I mean, my career has been great thus far. I mean, I've been able to really enjoy myself and just kind of be along for the ride. But now that I have other people to worry about, other people to provide for, makes the dash much more serious and makes the reward that much more worth it for me. So having that little chip on my shoulder being my son now is definitely going to be pushing me every single day in the gym and push me to go out there and make a difference in every single fight I have.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of, the return, if it does happen in February, is there anyone you think makes sense for you in the division?
Right now, I think running back with Luque makes the most sense. But after this fight with Wonderboy, I'm sure he's going to need some time to recover. So if his teammate Gilbert Burns want to step up and finally get in the cage with me, that'd be ideal.
Yeah, Gilbert Burns is seeming like he wants to fight everyone. Why is that a fight you like?
This is a fight. I mean, if I'm being honest, he did great since moving out to 170. He's called me out a few times after winning his fights. So I think it's time to put up a shutout with Gilbert Burns. So getting that fight lined up would be a great start for me going into 2020.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And speaking of the welterweight division, just next week we have a championship fight: Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. Just give us your take on that matchup and how do you think it goes down? Man,
that's gonna be a great matchup. I mean, you have 2 high-level wrestlers going at it. I think it's gonna come down to who can use their striking most effectively. I mean, if they're going back and forth and just using their wrestling, it'll be a real competitive fight. But I think the one fighter who can actually tap into their striking skill set will come away victorious in that fight.
Yeah. Do you think the welterweight division is ready to have Colby Covington as its champion?
Fuck, dude. It's definitely one of those things like. I'm going to cringe looking at it, but it's one of those things, like, if he gets it, congrats to him. Just someone knocks him off. I mean, it's just one of those things that we'll have to deal with. I mean, hopefully I can be that guy to knock him off, but I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, very good catching up with you, Neil. Glad to see that you're back and close to a return, and thank you very much for the time.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.